Highland. I'm Greg, and this is my wife Claire. We've been going to church here for quite a while. I was a member here in 1986. Claire's been with me here. She's been a member now for the last 4 years. Several years ago, I was diagnosed with, almost by accident, with a meningioma, which is a big word for a tumor on your brain. The diagnosis at the time was just to kind of keep an eye on it, just to watch it. So for several years, I would go in and have it watched, have an MRI done. And last year, I kind of did not really care to do that because I always got the same word, and that word was see you next year. So last year, after Claire's prompting, I finally went and got my MRI done, and they didn't come back with the same news. They came back with, we need to see you, and the meningioma had grown a little bit, and so their recommendation was at the time to go ahead and get it out, which was brain surgery. Go ahead and get it out before it caused symptoms and became more of an issue. So we went to MD Anderson out in Houston, Texas, and got ready for surgery, and I don't remember a whole lot after that, but Claire's going to tell us the rest of the story.
So Greg had surgery on a Monday morning, and everything went pretty smoothly with his surgery. And the next morning, his brother was in town and our son, and they left to go home because everything had gone so smoothly. And that day, Greg ended up having his first of many grand mal seizures, which put him into something called status epilepticus, which meant that he was having so many seizures back to back that he wasn't able to breathe. So they ended up rushing him down to CT to see what was going on. And while he was down there, he continued to have so many seizures back to back that they ended up bringing him back up to the neuro floor. And at the time, I was waiting down in the CT area, waiting for him to be done. And they called me actually from the hospital and said, you need to get back up to the neuro floor immediately. Your husband's gone into this episode, and we just need you to get back up here. So our daughter and I raced back up through the hospital and got back up to the neuro floor right away. And we got off the elevator, and at the end of the hallway, there was a alarm sounding and there was a blue light flashing, and they had ended up calling code blue on Greg. And when we turned the corner to his room, it was like a scene from the movies. Like there was like 25 doctors and nurses like everywhere surrounding his room. In his room, they were working on him, and they ended up wheeling him out of the room while they were working on him, and we had no idea what was going to happen. And they took him up to the ICU, and some doctors grabbed me and Zoe, and they took us up to the ICU, and they basically put us in the waiting room and just said, just wait here. And we had no idea what was going on. We had no idea if Greg was even alive. There was about an hour and a half that we didn't know if he was alive, if he was, so at the time I had different people calling and trying to calm me down, and I was shaking and I was crying, and I had so many like nerves just running through me. And one of our friends from church called, and she just said, I'm going to pray over you right now. And I was just physically shaking, and I was just so scared. And she started praying over me, and she said, God, I need for you to just calm Claire down from head to toe. And the second that she prayed that prayer, like everything, honestly, from my head to my toes just completely became calm. Like my body stopped shaking. Like I had this complete sense of peace just come over me, which was very, very, such an amazing feeling. And that was the first time out of those 2 weeks we were in the hospital that happened time and time and time again. There was so many different occasions where I talked to God nonstop for that whole entire 2 weeks we were there. I talked to him all day, every day, and I would say, God, please help me with this or answer this for me. And almost immediately something would happen. I would get a text message from a friend, and it would be a Bible verse answering exactly what I had just asked God to answer for me. And out of the hardest 2 weeks of our life, my life, the amount of times that God showed up and showed his presence to me was just such an incredible, incredible feeling. And I hope that everybody in their life has the chance to experience that feeling. And if you talk to God, he will answer you. If you ask him for something, he will deliver what you ask him. Maybe not in the way you exactly want it, but he will. So we obviously Greg has made it through everything, and he's doing well, and we have only God to thank for that.
I don't remember a lot about what went on that week. Obviously, I was in a different place in my head. Don't remember that time, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank the church and good friends for coming to visit and praying. The prayers were incredible, and thank you all for being there for me, and especially for Claire. Thank y'all very much.